welcome to the Zadzooks Happy Hour, a podcast providing commentary on the latest in film, TV, games, and comics. My name is Todd Stoll, and I'm joined by 25-year veteran reporter covering pop culture, video games, and technology for the Washington Times, Joseph Zadkowski. I mean, they weren't as bad as the Zach Galifianakis movie, though.
Masterminds? So that's what we do from now on, right? Before you watch a comedy, you have to watch Masterminds and then watch the comedy to see if it's actually funny?
No, I think it's one of these things where we need to develop like a... you know how like it's like for Rotten Tomatoes, it's
sliding scale.
It's got to be a scale of like 5 Galifianakises means it's like better than Master. I don't know. We'd have to think this through a little bit, but I feel like we should have a rating system.
Head.
With Zach's head.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's got a 1, maybe it's the reverse. Or it's got a 5. It's as good as bad as Mastermind.
So the lower the stars, the funnier it is.
Mm-hmm.
The lower the Zach heads, the funnier it is.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
I might be okay with that. So you and I both watched
critically acclaimed Game Night,
which was, I thought, mediocre.
It's not bad, and it's mildly amusing, and there's a couple of fun twists during the plot and action.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason Bateman is playing Jason Bateman, vintage Bateman, the kind of like low-key, sarcastic character.
Which I love.
That he's in every show.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
I'm okay with that. Rachel McAdams was...
She's good.
Fine.
Right.
Fine.
Wasn't she in Wedding Crashers?
Isn't she in The Notebook with Ryan Gosling?
Wasn't she in Wedding Crashers?
I don't remember.
Oh, my God.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie. At any rate...
I think that was like one of her first movies. Oh, man, you're killing me.
So, it's... The premise of the movie is that every weekend a group of friends get together and have a game night. And they're all highly competitive. Jason Bateman's character in particular is very, very competitive, as is his wife, played by Rachel McAdams.
Right.
And his brother, who is this very rich, kind of jerkish character, comes into the picture and decides that he wants to throw a game night at his place, which is this really expensive house. And it's going to turn into a murder mystery whodunit. Someone's going to be taken, and you've got to figure it out. And from there, you realize that it's not actually a game. Something bad has happened, although for a brief moment, the characters seem to think that it's all part of the game until it just kind of turns sideways.
And she was in Wedding Crashers, by the way.
Okay.
Which is a funny, laugh out loud movie.
Yep. At one point, Bateman's character gets shot in the arm, and there's a whole thing around going into his neighbor's house and dealing with his dog, and there's a lot of blood.
That was amusing.
Mildly amusing.
Yeah.
And they're just all over the place, and it's I don't know. There's a
like
plot.
a chase film.
It's like a plot within a plot within a plot. You know, they think they're in a game. They think they're in a game. There's an actual bad thing happening, but there's another bad thing happening. There's another bad thing happening. It's like 3 bad things happening that sort of unveil themselves.
Right.
And it's interesting.
Is it interesting?
If I were to compare this as to like another one of Bateman's comedies, like Horrible Bosses, which I think is hilarious, or for that matter, you could even say Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Or any of the other things, just not there.
Right.
Is it a clever idea? Sure. I don't think you've really seen that kind of a style of movie before. And it's just, it's crazy. I mean, maybe with a couple watches, you'd catch things that you didn't catch before and it would be funny. Of course, they introduce a gag reel and the extras and do the normal thing.
Which is like mildly amusing also.
If they're going to introduce a gag reel, I'd rather them put it in the movie to make it funnier.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even care if people break. It would be great if they just left it in.
Yeah. It made a lot of money.
Made a ton of money.
Made $37 million to make. cleared 117, so it did fine.
Got like an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I can't believe it cost $37 million to make that movie.
Sure. Think about all the car chases. That's pretty expensive.
I guess.
The car chases and having to block off city streets, that's not cheap. And, Bateman and McAdams certainly command a probably pretty healthy salary. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not totally surprised, but it's just, it's
not a knee slapper.
It's like a B minus, like C plus B minus.
I expected a lot more.
Me too.
I went into it going, this should be fun.
Yeah.
Because everyone kept telling me,
you're
going to love this.
Yeah, you're going to love this movie. Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Didn't, I mean, thought it was okay. Wasn't the greatest thing in the world.
Okay.
So, moving on.
Now you're on your own with Rooster Blockers.
Okay, Rooster Blockers or another thing we won't say.
Right.
It stars Leslie Mann, John Cena, and Ike Barinholtz as three parents who are a bit overprotective of their children.
Cena's a funny guy.
Cena is a very funny guy. Ike Barinholtz is a very funny guy.
What movie was he in with Mel Gibson? Something about Daddies.
Daddy's Home?
Daddy's Home?
2?
Daddy's Home 2?
Yeah.
See, that's not a very funny comedy, but I actually laughed a couple times out loud in that movie.
Well,
didn't happen in game night.
And Barinholtz was in Neighbors. He plays Rogan's best friend.
Okay.
And was on Mad TV. Was one of the original cast for that. Has written a lot of movies that he's not in that have made huge money. Central Intelligence with The Rock and Kevin Hart.
That was a pretty good movie.
He wrote that movie. So he's a pretty talented writer. He was in Suicide Squad, which, whatever. I actually liked his character.
Right.
He was in Bright. He's pretty tight now with Will Smith.
Uh-huh.
So doing a lot of things there. I think he's a very talented guy. Again, the movie, it revolves around three overpowering parents who are having a hard time with the fact that their kids are growing up. Barinholtz's character is sort of a deadbeat dad. Cena's character is just really over the top, protective, as is Leslie Mann's character. And they find out that their daughters are planning a sex pact on prom night, and they take it upon themselves to.
So we're still in high school.
Yes,
okay.
we're dealing with high school.
Got it.
And they take it upon themselves to try to stop it.
Okay.
And hilarity ensues. Now, there are some pretty funny pieces to this. One with Gary Oldman, which I will not give it away because I do feel like you need to watch that piece of it.
Okay.
That is so surprising for him to do. There's a voyeurism piece to it.
Wait a minute. Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Academy Award winner?
Yeah, like was in Office.
Not Gary Busey.
No, Gary Oldman as like Bill Lumbergh from Office Space. Or he was in Pineapple Express as the bad guy.
Okay, this is not the same Gary Oldman I'm thinking of.
Maybe not. No. Okay, now you're gonna have to look it up. Gary Oldman. No, not that Gary Oldman.
How many Gary Oldmans are there?
Go look him up. I'm messing up his name.
You're killing me.
At any rate,
I can't. I don't even know what to search in Wiki.
Just search for blockers.
Okay.
Blockers on IMDb, and then you can prove me wrong again for screwing up somebody else's name, which I'm pretty good at doing.
Blockers.
So there's a lot going on with him, and okay, now you're looking. What is it, Gary? Go to the cast.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, all right. What you got?
Gary Cole.
Gary Cole. Is it Cole? I guess it is Cole.
As Ron,
Yeah.
Kathy's husband.
Mm-hmm.
How does that come out
Dude.
How does Gary Oldman,
Man,
the guy who was in Churchill...
Whatever. I don't want to talk about it. At any rate, there's some crazy voyeurism stuff going on with him,
Okay.
which is pretty funny. In general, it's sort of like this lighthearted comedy around kids growing up and parents having to deal with it. Barinholtz has some pretty funny moments. John Cena has a really funny moment where he has to chug beer via a hose that is inserted in his rear end, and that's pretty funny.
Oh, I like him.
Yes,
Gary Cole is great.
Thanks, because now that we know his name.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it was maybe slightly.
Was it better than Game Night?
You know, I'm having a hard time rating the two because they're so different.
Okay.
It's not hilarious. There's still a lot of crazy things. There's a lot of kids doing drugs. It's produced by Seth Rogen's company, Point Grey.
Right.
Obviously, Judd Apatow is in there, too, because his wife is in it. So he's put some money up. It made a lot of money. It was very much like Game Night, made a lot of money, had really good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. Is it like an A-list comedy? No. Is it a low B? Again, like high C, low B? Probably. It's got some laugh-out-loud moments to it, but falls flat in a number of areas.
Blockers puts a gender swap spin on the teen sex comedy. Is that right?
It didn't really bother me any.
Okay.
I actually thought that the girls that they had were pretty funny. It's just that it's a little chaotic because they're running all over town and they're trying to find everyone, and the technology is sort of hard to believe. It's basically the equivalent if you link your iMessages to your computer, you can see what people are texting back and forth, and that's how they discover this thing. And it's just crazy. And I mean, again, it's got some laugh out loud moments. I will say I didn't get that from Game Night.
Okay.
But it's still, wasn't one that I was eager to go back and watch again a second time.
Okay.
So when it comes out, you should catch it for the parts with Gary Cole, not Oldman.
Got it.
Unless he makes a weird appearance I don't know about, because you will get a kick out of that. It's pretty funny.
So how many Zach Galifianakis heads do we get?
All right, so for
Game Night gets 2. They both can get 2.
No, they get 3.
3?
They get 3 because they're marginally better than Masterminds. And if it's a 1, well, no, that's a good point. 5 is a Mastermind. I think you got to go 1, which is like it's a reverse, but 1 is like a fantastic movie. So I give it a 3.
Yeah,
I give them both a 3.
Fine.
They're right in the middle. They're believe me, they're no Masterminds.
Right.
I don't think anything's ever going to be able to top that. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, there was a lot of good cast in that wasted. Right?
They wasted Kristen Wiig again.
Yeah.
Again. And Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
He's very good.
She's got to be exhausted at this point.
I haven't seen her in anything for a little while.
I haven't either.
So maybe she took a break, which would not be a bad thing.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know. So at any rate, if you want to watch B-level comedies,
mediocre movies,
and there's nothing else to watch, maybe you'll like it more. I just didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't into it. I'm into watching other things right now on Netflix that are really crushing it. So
do tell.
Well, we'll take a break and come back and we can talk about it. There's some stuff I think you need to watch too. So you got anything else before you want to break?
I was just looking. Well, she's going to be in Wonder Woman.
Oh,
Kristen.
That's right. She's the villain.
Cheetah, which ought to be amusing.
Yeah, she's the villain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay.
It takes place in the 80s, and they're shooting in Georgetown.
She was
right
in
now.
Downsizing, another movie nobody saw. This was another Matt Damon bomb, right?
Yeah, he's had a couple of them now.
Yeah.
Can't be any worse than He Bought a Zoo, or We Bought a Zoo, or...
She was in Mother? Yeah, I guess she was.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Off the rails. We'll be right back.
Communities Digital News, built by the writers and editors that deliver the news 24 hours a day. Visit comdiginews.com. That's COMMDIGI news.com. And support the next evolution in news.
Okay. So before we get into Netflix, you're screening some stuff that...
Yeah, I'm just watching Men in Black. Now I'm falling into the Todd Stowell school of Norm Crosby. Mission Impossible is now on 4K, or the 5 films.
So the first one's a pretty rough kind of...
Okay, first one's great, but there's a weirdness about it because it was directed by Brian De Palma.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily this action-packed blockbuster.
It's very much like a drama action.
Noirish kind of, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's okay for the first one.
Yeah.
Then the second one goes John Woo.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
Yep.
It's good. And it opens up with this lunatic cruise jumping off cliffs. I'm like, that's got to be a stuntman. No, he did this, which is just stunning to me.
He this guy's clinically insane. He's insane.
He's got a death wish.
Well, you saw what happened in the one that's just coming out.
I did not.
Yeah.
Is this the motorcycle? Is there a
No, he's like leaping from one building to another. They've got him on a rig.
No.
And he plows into the side of the building because he misses it, and he shatters his leg. Shatters it. It's like his foot bends back, and he breaks it. And what does the guy do? He gets up, and he
tries it again.
And he runs past the camera to get the shot, and he's like, guys, we got to shut down. Totally shattered my leg.
Wow.
But he got the shot.
Tough guy. I'm
like, that's insane. And
Yeah.
and like, I watched this thing on Graham Norton, which is like a British talk show, and it was like Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, all the cast, and Pegg refused to see the footage, and they made him watch it, and he almost threw up. So I mean, the guy's insane. He like flies planes, flies helicopters, and he does that in this movie. What was it? The last one, they're on the top of the building in Dubai.
That was number 3 is directed by J.J. Abrams,
right?
Which was really good.
Really good. And 4 was directed by
4
J.J.
was directed by Brad Bird from The Incredibles.
Right, but produced by Abrams.
And number 4 had the tallest building in the world, where this lunatic was now literally just climbing it, hanging off the side of it and running around it.
So here's the thing. If you're like a director of photography, are you pissing your pants?
So listening to some of the extras, John Woo's basically said, scared to death, couldn't believe this guy was doing this. I couldn't even look. Then Brad Bird's like, I can't believe this guy was doing this. I could only see him from the side of the camera, but he was, climbing the side of this building, no problem. And I couldn't believe he was, So he's freaking out the directors too. So
I mean, he wants to do his own stunts. He wants it to be believable.
And like 5, where he was hanging off the side of a plane that was taking off.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yep. And they had to do that shot like twice.
It's stunning to watch. I will tell you, watching number 4 the other night, every 20 minutes my jaw was dropping because I was like, "Oh, what?"
Well, is that the one where they did the pendulum between the two buildings?
Oh man,
where he has to like leap off of one building onto the other, and then he like he slides down the roof and almost falls. I mean, come on.
Yes, in Shanghai.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
That was 3. I think I happened in 3.
And these movies show no sign of slowing down,
except for him.
I mean, he's getting older.
This is 2 decades of this.
I mean, he looks really young in the first one. The first one's a really weird.
It is. There's a weird vibe in it.
There's a weird, like, very strange vibe about it. John Voight is in that one. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's just
different.
Weird.
And it really doesn't do much to follow the TV show.
But it created one of the most iconic scenes of, like, the 2000s where he lowers in the room.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just sitting there.
That's so fun to watch.
They have parodied that left, right, and sideways for how crazy that is.
Watching the one drop of perspiration come off him in 4K.
In his glove. Yeah. So how is the upscaling on the first one? Because the first one I've seen on Blu-ray is pretty rough.
Is beautiful now.
Is it?
Yeah, totally cleaned up. I don't know if they remastered or went to negative. They haven't even said, but it looks great. And it gets better after that.
Yeah.
I
mean, obviously.
Because as the technology got better, they were able to.
See, I'm surprised with these movies they don't shoot them in IMAX. The craziness of what he's doing.
Number 4 was in IMAX.
Was it?
Yeah. Number 4 was in IMAX.
Man.
And I'm sure 5 was in IMAX.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know is poor Simon Pegg. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff with him in these movies. And
poor Simon Pegg. He doesn't have to do anything.
He's in a car.
He's always in a car looking at a computer screen.
He's in a car as they're driving backwards through narrow city streets.
Cool.
And he's like, yeah, do you think that was hooked up to a flatbed and we were driving and we were just being towed around? No, Tom's driving the car and I'm the passenger and I'm about to throw up.
Oh, you know what's in number 2? There's a fight scene at the end with Doug Ray Scott, the guy who was going to be Wolverine.
Yes.
And had to back out because of this movie.
Yep.
It is unbelievable.
Is that the one with the motorcycles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're on the beach fighting. Yep. Oh, man.
Flying through the air, crashing into each other. Oh, that movie is vicious.
So I've enjoyed these thoroughly.
Yeah, the 4Ks I bet are going to be really great.
And they come out on Tuesday, so really, get them.
And Apple's already upscaled to 4K
on
all the digitals because they've replaced all the cover art for the new movie.
So that's exciting.
So I got some Netflix stuff for you.
Okay.
You into like crime, murder, mystery stuff?
I've been on Netflix watching Hitler's Bodyguards.
Haven't seen that yet. How is that?
If you are fascinated, I almost said, if you're a Hitler fan, you're really going to get a kick out of this. No, if you're fascinated with the fact that this guy actually existed and was able to pull this off, you're going to be really interested in watching this. And then I watched Hitler's Death Squads, which is even more amazing because they have first-person accounts of some of the stuff.
From his people, or
from a couple of soldiers, but some of the
victims,
almost victims, and it's pretty amazing to watch it.
So,
go right ahead.
So, Evil Genius, have you seen that yet?
No.
Okay, so that's the one that is the pizza bank robber. Did you ever hear about that?
You told me this last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it takes place in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
It's really happened. This guy who's a pizza delivery man robs a bank and immediately gets, pulled over by the police, and he's got something strapped to his neck. And it's the equivalent of a handcuff, but it's made larger to go around his neck. And he says, it's a bomb, it's a bomb, it's a bomb. And please help me, please take it off. And all of a sudden he hears beep, 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 and boom, he blows up.
Amazing.
And they have footage of it, which is crazy. So then you go into, okay, what's going on here? And who called and ordered the pizza? Was he in on it? And it's a 6-episode sort of dive into this crime. It involves it reminds me a little bit of like the real life characters of Mastermind, in the sense of like how crazy these people are.
Right.
So there's this woman who's a genius, but she's bipolar and is really sort of bona fide crazy, and has killed like 2 of her former boyfriends. And they eventually find out that she's involved. This other guy who is like her ex-boyfriend was involved, but he died and took it to his grave. It's really intense, and they never really determined whether or not the guy who was blown up was involved. They think maybe he was, but that he never knew that they were going to betray him and strap a bomb to him, and because they were looking for money. They wanted him to rob this bank and get $250,000, and I think he ended up taking like $8,000. So it was a heist for money. And these people ended up killing him, and so she's in jail.
Did you just give away the entire plot?
No,
Is there any point in watching this now?
It's just really fascinating to watch. Like, the woman is bizarre, just crazy.
Right, don't say any more. I want to watch this.
So the next thing is, and this came out in like the mid-2010s, and then Netflix optioned 3 additional episodes and added it on and re-released it, and it's called The Staircase.
Okay.
And this is a murder that... It's either a murder or an accident, and you're left to decide. This French...
but I thought this guy was in jail for it.
He went to jail for it and is out.
Okay.
He got out because of evidence tampering, and
okay.
One of the lead investigators fabricated a bunch of the results. And so the premise is that this author, also newspaper columnist Michael Peterson, his wife, quote unquote, fell down the stairs, hit her head, bled out, and died.
Okay.
And you are given the most ridiculous access to him, to his family, to the prosecution, to the family that hates him, to the judge, to the jury, to his lawyers. You are given full, total access to a criminal murder trial, whether it be him at home. They eventually use some of the footage against him. The guy goes to jail, serves 8 years because they convict him of murder. And then they find out that one of the lead investigators who handled all the evidence, well, he may not have been on the up and up. He may have been fabricating the truth so that the prosecution would win. And when they went back to look at the evidence, it was all ripped open and all mixed, so they couldn't pull DNA. So he ended up putting in an Alfred plea, which is essentially he pled guilty without admitting guilt.
Okay.
And he's out. But it is the most gripping sort of telling of a criminal trial. I mean, it's really, for knowing that you never want to be put in that position, it is really masterfully done. And so Netflix had a couple other episodes optioned for when he went back to trial.
Okay.
Because they were trying to get it thrown out due to evidence tampering and all these other things. And so they kind of pick up 8 years later, and the guy just looks awful. He's in his late 70s at that point. He was old when he went in, and he's not doing well. And it takes 2 or 5 years before they agree to retry, before he actually gets retried. And at that point, like, he goes in and they have his ankle bracelet removed because never in the history of the state has anyone been in it for over 2 years. I mean, it's insane. He literally just sits by, and some of his family, he is really strong with still, and some don't want to have anything to do with him anymore. So it's just a really interesting.
Sounds really depressing to me.
Oh, but man, like, it's really for never really being able to sort of specifically see all the things that go through a trial. Like, if you think about like OJ, and all the like evidence and everything, they have footage of the jury going to his house and looking at this staircase. During that time, they're not allowed to wash the walls, so all the blood stains are still there. I mean, you're talking like years later.
Right.
And, you know, the guy goes broke because he had to defend himself.
Yeah.
And it's just really, it's very well done. I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's probably one of the best documentaries I've seen in a while, especially in the sort of true crimes area.
Right.
It's really, really good. Like, really well done. And I'm trying to think. I think we talked about all the other stuff I've been watching.
That's good.
I've got this other show on the BBC I'm watching right now called Marcella. I think you might like it. It's like a British kind of crime drama, which seems to be pretty good.
I'm almost through Gotham.
Yeah.
I'm still in. It's still great.
You think they're going to, is there going to be an end game for it?
Yeah. There's season 5.
And is that it?
And that's it.
Oh, they're done.
Yeah, I'm bummed because I'm actually enjoying the show. The actors are really good.
Do you think that part of that is because they know that the actual film franchise is sucking so bad, and maybe they feel like it's being watered down by the television version?
I can't see how that's possible. I mean, it's being watered down by the lack of creative talent going into the movies.
It's going to be really interesting.
Affleck's done, right?
I don't know.
I think he's done.
I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see Aquaman.
Who's playing the Joker? There's a new Joker. And there's supposed to be Robert De Niro is supposed to be...
The Penguin?
No. He's supposed to be in the Joker movie as like an assistant or something, or a secondary character.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a standalone Joker movie?
Yeah.
It just follows the Joker?
Yeah. The origins of the Joker.
It's not...
And it's not with Jared Leto.
It's not Jared Leto. Oh... Why are they doing this? They already did a Joker movie, and guess what? It was amazing. You're never going to be able to top The Dark Knight. Ever. Ever. Heath Ledger won an Academy Award. I don't care that he died and that it was like posthumous, but like, or whatever you want to call it. But at any rate, like, the guy was amazing.
I'm trying to figure out where I'm getting all this information because I saw it, and De Niro was supposed to be...
Really?
Yeah.
Why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
De Niro?
Yeah.
Because he's an idiot. Look what the guy's been in the last... What was that Grandpa movie he was in?
Bad Grandpa.
The guy is just... He's taken a great career and flushed it.
Well,
because of the stuff
there's another movie. There's another movie coming
Grandpa
out.
Part 2?
There's another movie coming out with like him and Joe Pesci.
Oh my God! What is it, like Grandpas or something, or Old Men? What was the Old Men movie with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon?
Oh,
remember that?
Oh, what was that? I don't even remember, but it was, yeah. I hope not.
De Niro joining Joker film.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Joaquin Phoenix is going to play the Joker.
Well,
I'm not against that.
That's an interesting
choice. Yeah. It's an origin movie.
Really? Is Batman going to be in it?
I don't know. I don't even know if this is real. This might just be a bunch of fake news again.
You know, if they do it, can they just break off from... I feel like the feel of Batman and Superman is like...
So dense.
No, you know what it is? It's too cartoony. The Dark Knight did away with that.
Right.
And he used like military vehicles.
Yeah.
And like realistic things. And if you thought of like a sadistic guy running around a city, granted, you got a guy dressed up as a bat, but like... I can suspend disbelief there, but the cars and like all the stupid things,
the armor, the grapple,
don't care about it. I like the fact that Christian Bale was spelunking. You know, that's that's honestly part of the reason why I really liked Ghostbusters was because when they came out with it, they had the National Guard there. It was very much like you could believe that if ghosts were real.
You could believe a multi-story Marshmallow Man could walk the city.
But if you think about it, like if you had ghosts and like there was something bad happening, it wouldn't just be these idiots rolling in there. Like you had the National Guard, they had the police. You know, like that's why I like Ivan Reitman movies is because he would bring in like this massive
Blues Brothers.
Well, look at Blues Brothers, exactly where the National Guard and all the police.
Yep,
that's believable to me. What they did in The Dark Knight is believable. What they did in Superman versus Batman and then the stupid Justice League movie.
Yeah.
They didn't even do Wonder Woman. Like Wonder Woman as a standalone is kind of the same way. You know, it's very believable. Like if this character existed, you could believe in World War II she did these things.
Yeah.
Roll her into this other thing and all of a sudden you've got like Cyborg and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I just saw that they're introducing the what's the Korean spider girl? What's her name?
Who the hell?
She was introduced not that long ago. She's in Peter Parker's class, and she also gets bit, and she's Spider Girl, but with a different name, and I can't think of it. Marvel and Amy Pascal from Sony are both considering a standalone movie for that character, which is weird beyond belief for me. I don't get it.
And I heard Ant-Man's okay.
Yeah,
People are saying it's pretty good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So
I actually think that
I like the two main characters.
Yeah, I thought the first movie was fun.
Yeah.
So as long as this one follows suit, I'm fine with that.
All right.
There's a ton of movies coming out. Somebody made some comment about if anyone ever developed a time machine, they'd like to go back and reshoot Solo all over again for how bad it was. Have you seen it?
I've not.
Are you going to?
I think I'm going to have to wait till it comes out on... It's not worth sitting in theaters for.
Yeah.
Good golly.
And wow, I guess on that note...
Is that me?
No, that's me.
Okay.
Both my phone and my computer are ringing all at the same time. So
is that a drink more citric acid alert?
No, that's a phone call alert.
Got it.
So,
well,
I don't
thanks.
know. I'm watching lots of stuff, man. I'm trying to catch up. Preacher Season 3 is out imminently.
Oh, boy. I'm still stuck in first couple episodes as 2.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to go back, man.
I know.
Season 3, he goes back home, which I'm excited about.
Oh, I'm excited about.
Yeah, because I love that town, and
I'm just. I think it's a good show.
Yeah,
and I wish Seth Rogen had nothing to do with it, but it's a good show.
I don't think he really does have much to do with it.
Good.
I think it's just his. I mean, he usually directs the first episode.
He needs to pull a Roseanne. He needs to just pull out of it.
But I mean, it's pretty true to the comic.
It is.
Yeah, it's really true to the comic.
Yeah.
And I love the lead guy, Dominic. I can't remember his last name, but he's so good. And his vampire friend who's been...
Oh, man. I love that guy, too.
He's been in like a ton of British shows, which are like fantastic. So I'm excited for that. Better Call Saul comes out, I think, at the end of summer.
Great.
I think in August, which I'm excited for. Could care less about The Walking Dead coming back.
Yeah, that's way done.
Considering that Andrew Lincoln's leaving, they've got to kill that show. They got to end it.
I think they are, right?
Have they said? Yeah. Did they say that?
I think they said this was the last season.
Oh, because they originally said that and then they backed out of it.
I think this is the last season.
They got to just end it with him. They can't go on. It would be such a disservice.
Could have went on if they kept Carl alive, but
I mean, there's a couple characters that if they had left alive would have been pretty decent. Like they didn't have to kill Glenn. That could have been really interesting.
Right.
Like Maggie taking over and Glenn having to deal with that.
The Walking Dead, the final season.
Is that
maybe?
I don't think it is. I think there was a discussion.
Or is that a game?
Yeah. I think they're still going. I think he's bowing out.
That's a big mistake.
I think it is too. Like, why would you do that?
See, even Telltale Games knows when to get out of the game.
Well,
they're doing one final season and they're done. And that's a pretty good game.
Yeah, I gotta believe that they're also kind of done with having to create another storyboard, a storyline for that too. You got any games you're playing?
I can't think of the game. There's a game coming this week that's a remaster of an old game. Crash Bandicoot, I think.
Is that the Sega game? It was originally Sega, right? That made that?
It's pretty old.
Yeah. Weird.
I don't know now, but I'll let you know.
Well, clearly you're excited about it.
Well, it's not the time of the year for the big titles yet, so.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
That'll
though,
be
right?
in the fall,
Yeah.
right. All right.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
See you.